Hey friends, welcome to the channel Data with Hannah. Today we are going to dive into layout group within design tab of pivot tables in Microsoft Excel. If you are working with pivot tables in Microsoft Excel and you want to make your data easier to read and easier to understand, so this video is for you. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to adjust your pivot tables layout to make it work best for you. So let's get started. Here you can see that I have already created a pivot table and my data is sample superstore. Now in this pivot table, I have added regions into the columns, categories into the rows, and subcategories also into the rows, and sum of sales into the values. Now let's go and see the layout group here, which is in the design tab. First, let's look at the report layout. You can see that here we have three different types that we can use for our report layout. First of all, it is compact form. Let's choose compact form. You can see that it didn't change because the default format for our layouts is always the compact format. So what it does in the compact form, it will group all of the row fields into one column. So here you can see that in the rows I have added the category. Also I have added the subcategory. Category here is furniture, office supplies, and technologies. Then we have the subcategory underneath it, but all in one column. So let's suppose we add some segments also here. So you can see that segments is also underneath the subcategory, then underneath the category. So what it does, it will categorize all of the fields that we are going to add into the rows shelf here into just one column and make it in a compact format. Now let's go and change the report layout into the outline form. As soon as I click on the show in outline form, you can see the differences. You can see that it expanded my data. So what it does, it will add each field into different columns. So here you can see that I just said earlier that I have added categories, subcategory, and segments here in the row shelves. So what it does here, it will show me the category field into the one column, the subcategory field into the next column, and the segment field into the next column. So here basically, because I have three fields, I have three columns here. Now let's go and change the report layout into the tabular form. When I click on the tabular form, you can see that it will change the layout and it will show me the data in more tabular form. So basically what I can see here is just a table and with a lot of details. So this layout will provide for me more details in a table format. This layout is great if we want to show our data in a table style format. So especially if we want to make it easy to filter and to sort. Okay, so that was all about the report layout. Now let's go to the next one, which is the blank rows. First of all, let's change the layout again to the compact form, which was the default one. Now let's go to the blank rows. Here, if we want to add blank line after each item, we can use this option, insert blank line after each item. Here you can see that bookcases, chairs, these are all the items here. So if we go to the blank rows and insert blank line, you can see that after each item, it will add for us a blank line. It will make our data easier to read. Now let's go and remove these blank. You can see as simple as that. Remove blank lines to remove it for us. Now let's talk about subtotals. If we want to add subtotals for our data, we can use here subtotals. Show all subtotals at bottom of group or show all subtotals at top of each group. Let's choose at the bottom of group. You can see that each one is a group like bookcases, chairs, and so on. So it will add a subtotal of each one. Suppose we will remove segment from here. Now it is much easier to understand. Here furniture is one group. Then we have the office supplies another group. And then we have the technology another group. So at the bottom of each group, it will add for us the subtotals. Now let's change the position of it to the top of the group. Click on this one and it will show for us the subtotals on the top of each group. So here furniture, this is the group, and you can see that we have the subtotals here. Now if we want to remove the subtotals, simply go to the subtotals and here we have the option of do not show subtotals. Click on this one and it will remove for us. Then at last, let's talk about the grand totals. Grand totals, if we want to add for rows for columns for both of it, or if we want to not show it for both of it, we can use this option. Here, if we choose off for rows and columns, it will remove it and we will not see the grand totals anymore. Now let's add it for both rows and columns. It will show, you can see the grand total here and for the rows and grand total here for the columns. Now the next one is on for rows only. If you want to see only for the rows, you can see here this is the grand total only for each row. Then we have the next option, which is the on for columns only. It will only show grand totals for columns. You can see here we have the grand totals for each column. So what is the benefit of adding subtotals and grand totals into your pivot tables? If you want to show the summary of each category separately, you can use subtotals. But if you want to see the overall picture, if you want to see the overall values, then you can use the grand totals. So that was all about the layout group and design tabs in Microsoft Excel. So by using these options, you can fully customize your pivot tables, layout, and instruction the way you want. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channels. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.